yes, I would love to know this new term.
It's pun acceptable. So it's
Pun
not
acceptable.
unacceptable. Not unacceptable, but pun acceptable, which is an acceptable
like
pun. You see?
Yes.
So what it means is if you can make a pun, you should make a pun. If it's there and it's there ready to go, then that's what needs to be done. So there you go.
Okay, I accept that pun acceptability.
Pun acceptability. Should we get our stove sharded? Should we get our show started? Or our
yes,
start
let's
showed
stow
it or
our
something?
show in the starting shorting bucket.
Okay. This is Bearly Furcasting, featuring Taebyn and Injured Nerves audio production. Well, hello, welcome, and Mubarak Fluff to all the creatures in the Potiverse. I am Barely Normal, your co-host Bear. I was going to say without a care, but who has many care? And with me is that doggo of dysfunction, that pup of playfulness, that fluffy fella, Taebyn. How the fluff are you, Taebyn?
I'm a fluffy fella. Woo!
You're a fluffy fella.
Yay. I fell off that wall. No, that was not pun acceptable. I tried, but I think that's
Well, that was pun acceptable. You fell off the wall. Yeah, fell off the wagon.
Okay, that works. Okay,
Yeah.
we'll do that. Yeah, so fella. But yeah, no,
Fella! Fella!
Oh my cow.
Okay, any fur that knows that reference, let us know right off the bat.
I
where that
believe
reference came
also, just to, I won't give it away, but to help it out, I think Ken Jennings had that as an answer on one Jeopardy episode he had. So
from. Jeopardy?
Well, it wasn't the word fella, but anyway, yes, hi. Hi, yes,
Hi.
I'm good. I've been running around. I've been doing the things. And Mr. Bearly, how are you doing, dare I ask?
Well, I've had a week. Actually, it's been a bad week. But and of course, you know, we had to cancel going to FC a couple of weeks ago because of the Omicron, and we should have been at FC, but stupid Omicron. Omicron, and now there's Deltacron or Omadelt.
I have not heard of
that
Omadelt. Really, is that a thing?
Omadelt. Yeah, it's a crossbreed between the Delta virus and the
Oh.
Omicron virus. It's got the attributes of both, so I don't know what they're calling it. Probably call it George. I don't know.
Oh, watch out for that George.
Watch out for George. George is gonna get you.
Actually, what you really should watch out for is that Donald. Well, not the duck, but yeah.
Well, you should watch out for that tree, George.
Friend
George
to
of
you
the
and
jungle.
me.
Watch out for that tree. Yeah, you know that cartoon.
I do. I played that on
Yeah.
drums before.
All right. So I think the next con that I'm going to is BLFC. Is there any that you're going to before BLFC in June?
Well, I'm registered for TFF in March, but who
Okay.
knows what's going to happen. They're currently
Who knows?
trying to figure out everything because the politics
Right.
in Texas, and who knows what's going to happen with the COVID, and they're still trying to figure out like COVID policies so that people can actually make travel plans. So anyway, I'm
Right.
registered for
Yeah.
TFF, but
Exactly.
we'll see what I do. I don't know.
All right. Yeah, so I honestly think I would have been in a better mood if we had gone to FC, but, life is what life is, so.
It turns out that is a true statement. Is what life
That life is
what
life is.
Tatsu, my husband's one of his favorite mantras to live by is "It is what it is," and really, that's a great
It is
little
what it is.
phrase. It is what it is.
It is what it is, and a lot of people hate that phrase because it's so overused. It's overused. There's too many hues in that phrase.
There's so many non-pun
Jesus, oh my
acceptable
God.
ways I would go with that. I'm trying to pick one, but
Right,
I'm not gonna. I'm
right.
just not even gonna try.
Right, yeah, whatever. But it is what it is. IIWI. I put that in text messaging every once in a while. IIWI. You should put that to your hubby
should.
someday when he says something. You should text message
Yeah.
and then see if he knows what it means. He'll come home and say, "What is iwi?"
Well,
is
it's
iwi?
a baby sheep that's speaking high pitched. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it's a tiny kiwi. It's a iwi. It's a
Iwi.
teeny tiny kiwi. Iwi.
Oh my!
Oh, I know what. I'm gonna get to the weekly challenge for our
Oh.
furs.
Oh wait.
I
I
would
want.
like you to.
I have
What?
something to
What?
actually. I could
What?
say
What?
it after the challenge. Okay, I'll say it after the challenge because you already started.
Okay, the challenge is if you've ever watched Monty Python, they had the Ministry of Funny Walks.
Yes.
So I would like furs to get in their fursuit and record themselves doing a funny walk similar to the Monty Python Ministry of Funny Walks. And if you don't know what it is, Google it, see what they're doing, and then kind of do that. And send that in to
Yay.
us.
Okay, why not? It is
Why
what
not?
it is,
It's like-
socks.
Iwi.
Iwi socks.
Iwi socks tea bags. Iwi socks.
So I had this thought, and I mean, this is rude. It's not actually leading up to a bad pun or anything. Believe it or not, it's an actual thing. I just was thinking the other day about how it's interesting. You know, the natural numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, blah blah. They go on forever and everything, but every single one of them is finitely long. Like there's finitely many digits. So even though they go on forever, there's always finitely many digits,
Yes.
which is just kind of interesting and weird to think about if you think about it. And actually, I don't know if you remember a month ago or something, I talked about Cantor's diagonalization argument that can be used to show that the
Yes.
real numbers are uncountable. And a lot of people
Yes.
forget that natural numbers are like indirectly forget that natural numbers, even though they go on forever, there's finitely many digits. And they use that misconception or forgetfulness, whatever, to, long story short,
Get on with it. Yes, get on with it.
essentially disprove Cantor's diagonalization argument, which, well, doesn't work. And it's a good thing it doesn't work because there's a lot of math built on Cantor's thing. So anyway, that's a reason why a lot of people try and disprove that, but it doesn't because they forget that natural numbers are finite long. Anyway, I had that thought the other day, and I thought it was just kind of interesting to think about.
You had that thought, so you had to get that thought out of your head and into the airwaves.
The waves are airing.
And now you have freed up space in your doggo brain for other things.
More fluff can be fluffed in there. Exactly. Yay.
More fluff. Yes. Mm-hmm.
On that note,
So, on that note,
I have a song to sing because there's a note.
You have a song. Well, is this an original song or a...
No. Have you ever heard
okay.
of Wesley Willis?
Wesley Willis? No. I've heard of Wesley
Snipes.
Snipes. I've heard of Wesley...
Shut up, Wesley.
The boy on Star Trek. The boy.
Wesley Crusher.
The boy?
Yeah.
Wesley Crusher, yes. I've heard of him, but no, I haven't heard of
Wesley Willis.
whatever you said.
Wesley Willis.
Winnebago.
Yeah, Wesley Willis was well, some called him the daddy of rock and roll from
Daddy.
from Chicago, and he actually passed away several years ago. But so he wrote some songs, and I want to sing one. I don't have the music to go in the background, but I'll just whet your palate with a bad singing of it and our
Acapella.
acapello. I am with my acapello, and it's very fluffy and fun to sleep on.
Acapella.
My acapello.
He's singing avocado, folks.
Iwi! No. So it goes like this. This song is called Rock and Roll McDonald's.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay.
Go for it.
It really goes like this. Just you wait. McDonald's is the place to rock. It is a restaurant where they buy food to eat. He does say it. He doesn't. This is him. It is a good place to listen to the music. People flock here to get down to the rock music. And then the chorus, rock and roll McDonald's, rock and roll McDonald's, rock and roll McDonald's, rock and roll McDonald's. McDonald's will make you fat. They serve Big Macs. They serve quarter pounders. They will put pounds on you. And then another chorus, rock and roll McDonald's, rock and roll McDonald's, rock and roll McDonald's, rock and roll McDonald's. And then he does a little thing. And by the way, I should say, he's doing all this on his little Casio thing. And so right now he's got a little exciting solo. You'll just have to hear it for yourself. And then another verse. McDonald's hamburgers are the worst. They are worse than Burger King. A Big Mac has 26 grams of fat. A quarter pounder has 28 grams of fat. Rock and roll McDonald's, rock and roll McDonald's, rock and roll McDonald's, rock and roll McDonald's, rock on London, rock on Chicago, Wheaties, breakfast of champions. And that is rock and roll McDonald's.
Rock and roll McDonald's, rock and roll McDonald's.
Okay. Wow. I don't know what to say about that. I honestly don't know what to say.
There it is. It is what it is.
gonna have Iwi. I'm gonna have to look that up and listen to it the right way.
Yes, you
Yeah,
will.
okay.
Yes, you will.
Well, okay. Well,
Where do we go with that?
Go on. Well, thanks for joining us today, folks. And Furs, it's been fun. There's no way we can.
We hope you have been enlightened.
We can't top that. We can't top that at all. But we will go on with our show. You muted yourself,
I did.
my friend.
Hi.
Oh, there you are. You did. You mooted. Mooted. The point is moot. Speaking of that, you know how people say the point is moot?
I do,
You know what that
yes.
means, right? It's not appropriate anymore, but it's spelled M-O-O-T.
Moot.
Moot. I hate it when people say the point is mute.
See, we are
No,
of
the
like
point-
fluff.
Yeah, the point is not mute.
No, it's not. I can still hear the point.
it's-
It's not
No,
me
it's
exactly.
very noisy.
Exactly. Whew. Yeah, we are of like fluff there.
You know, if you have a marble countertop, you don't want to take it for granted.
Oh.
All right.
Unless
to the
there is
past-
a restaurant named Granite, then you can take it for granted. To Granite, yeah.
to granite.
Oh, pun
Yeah.
not acceptable.
Granite.
Okay. Anyway.
Pun acceptable. You must make the pun. Let's go to the past today.
Woo!
Last time we talked about the show. You watched the show called The Crew
Oh yeah. Uh-huh.
on Netflix.
Yeah.
And I couldn't remember the actor's name. The actor's name is Kevin James.
Ah, okay.
And essentially, he's playing the same character that he played on King of Queens,
Oh, he was the one from
but in a
Kingston.
different setting.
Okay. I see.
It's kind of like when you watched, if you ever watched Home Improvement with Tim Allen,
Yeah.
and then he got the show Last Man Standing.
Same thing. Yeah.
So the same thing, only with girls, because Home Improvement was him with 3 boys, and this one is 3 girls. It's like, it's the same show,
Oh, there's so many
but-
B. Arthurs around.
right? Yeah, you got your one-trick pony. And let's see, what do we go? Oh, and the joke. Well, I was editing last week's show. We had Cleo Lemon Fox on the show, and there was a point where he said no pun intended, and you tried to get me to retell the joke, but I glossed over it. And then you went ahead and told the joke later on in the show.
Yeah.
Like an hour later, you said, "I want to go back to this." Told
No,
that joke
I
anyway.
had to do that, so I did it.
It was pun acceptable.
But,
So
yeah.
you go. There you go.
I didn't even realize it, but now I know it is, so I feel redeemed.
Mhm.
There's a song that goes, I've been redeemed by the blood of the Lamb. I've been redeemed by the blood of the Lamb. I've been redeemed by the blood of the Lamb. The Holy Ghost knows I am, or something like that. I'll stop.
By the blother lamb.
Blood of the Lamb.
Oh, I was gonna say who's blood the lamb?
Who's blood of the Lamb, and
Who's this-
why is
who's
he
this
showing
brother
up for
lamb?
Thanksgiving so late? I mean, come on.
Yeah. Have you ever had lamb for Thanksgiving? I haven't.
I had a lamb
Yeah.
cake one time.
A lamb cake. Oh, like a shape like a lamb.
Like shaped like a lamb, yeah.
For Thanksgiving or for Easter?
I think it was Thanksgiving.
Why? Okay.
I don't know. I have no idea.
Someone got a lamb mold and they made the cake.
They got
and said, "Here you go."
confused.
It's like, is this Thanksgiving or Easter? I can't
It's
remember.
Boxing
but-
Day, so have a lamb.
Right. So, do you have any past today before I get into a little educational thing?
Yes, I have 2 little
Okay.
past days. So
Okay.
they're both from episode before last when TikTok sat in for me because I was gone. And
Yes.
you're talking about New Year's plans. And TikTok was talking about
Yes.
how he had New Year's plans to stop procrastinating, but never got around to it. Oh,
Right.
and but that reminded me of a shirt that I have, and I usually don't wear shirts because I'm a pup. I got all this fluff and everything, but sometimes it gets so cold
True.
that I have to wear a shirt. And I have a shirt that says top 10 reasons why I procrastinate. Then the number 1, and that's it.
And that's it.
So I like that shirt. It's
I like
a good
it.
shirt.
That's a good shirt. That is. A
And
good shirt.
I'll get to that later.
Yes.
And in that same episode, you were talking about world traditions, and I have to just loll at the Denmark, the plate breaking on neighbors' front lawns, and
It's neighbors' front porches.
yeah,
Yes.
like not your own, like you make them clean it up, and
Yep.
Italy throwing the furniture out onto the street. That was pretty good.
Yes. You want to throw throw away the old and welcome in the new, I guess.
Just be careful when you're, as you mentioned, be careful if you're walking around on New Year's Day in Italy, because watch out for the flying counter.
Yeah. All right.
But that's my pass for today, or things.
That's your pass for the day. All right. So I want to get into a little bit of education for today. Yes. But later we're going to be talking to our special guest today is Ben Diskin, the voice of who?
Jack from Beastars and
Yes,
Haida from Agretsuko.
Agretsuko, yes. But Taebyn,
Hi.
did you know that Haida is the name of a group of indigenous people from the Pacific Northwest of the United States?
I did not know that. Specifically in the PNW, huh?
Yes, specifically in the Pacific Northwest.
And specifically, yes.
It's hard to say that phrase, let me tell you. But there are a little... So this is going to be a little bit of a... We're going to call this Bearly Facts.
Barely, they are
Barely
facts.
They're barely facts.
That's all. Like, you can check them out, and you won't really find if they're true or not, because they're barely facts.
They're barely facts, yeah. So there are only about 4,500 Haida left in the world.
Well, actually, there's more than that, because they're all
just really
hiding.
Yes.
Exactly. Those Haida, yeah.
Mom was a Haida, and we could never find her. We could never find her because she was such a good Haida.
Those fellas, I tell you.
Yeah, they were there. Teabags.
Sucks.
They are. Oh, too many catches.
Oh, cow. My cow.
They are well-known craftsmen and designers, and much of the Pacific Northwest Native American art that you see around is all Haida.
Oh,
They're the ones that make the totem poles and the Pacific Northwest type artwork stuff. That's all Haida that does that.
Okay.
Yeah. A lot of times you'll see the statues of the Northwest Native Americans, and they've got that kind of cone hat that comes down and swoops down.
Oh, yeah,
over them. That was actually the headdress of the chief of the Haida.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I definitely did not know that. I always thought those things were like just generic Indian things or something, but it's it's a PNW specific type
specific
heritage.
Yeah. Heritage, right. And they were the first peoples on the planet believed to have managed forests.
Oh, really?
In the world.
So like the original forest rangers, as it were.
Pretty much, as it were. Yes, they would. In fact, the forest where their native lands are now is a little over 14,000 years old, and it is believed to be the longest running managed forest in the world. They would harvest the trees for their stuff, and they would plant them again, and they would take care of the forest. And it was very obvious that they managed the forest. So that's kind of an interesting little fact there.
It is. And I'm sure it was all very spiritual about it, too. So it was all a very special thing. Yeah, cool. Very cool.
Oh, yes. I mean, you take, you give. You take, you give. It's very simple. They were a very furry people, as many Native American tribes were. They were very furry-centric. I'm going to say that because there wasn't furries around then. But they were very tied to the animals of spirit animals. Their most importance are the bear.
Oh, hello. Hey!
I was an important thing. And the eagle, the frog, the beaver, the dogfish, the mouse, and the wolf. Yeah.
So there is a dogfish, really?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
It doesn't look very pretty. That's why it's called
the dogfish. The catfish, it's kind of pretty because, it's kitty, but dogfish,
it's got whiskers.
It's like the dogfish is more of like a cross between a pug and blobfish, so it's not the most attractive thing ever.
It's not, not at all. And I had to tell our listeners, Taebyn and I work off a shared notebook when we're making our show notes. And the other day we were working on the show notes at the same time in different locations. And because it's a shared notebook, you can see what the other person is typing. And he put a little note in there. He says, I see you typing. It's so weird. And he put creepy, but I read carpy because I had just written about fish.
Oh, is that why you did that? Okay.
Yeah. And so I thought, carpy? What? Oh, no, creepy. But
he changed it to the word to carpy in the notes.
Yes. It's like, and then I said fish, and he said socks, and then I said avocado, and then we said tea bags, and then today I just put iwi in there.
You just put iwi in, okay. Yay!
I did.
I feel complete. I feel so well-rounded and complete now by all this.
Do you feel cohesive?
I feel very cohesive. cohesive. Again, for any further that knows that reference, shout out. You get hugs and cookies if you write in about how you know what that means.
I think that's our longest running gag.
I think so
if
too.
you will.
Like, yeah. I mean, that's like from the beginning.
From the very beginning. So that was the Bearly facts with Bearly.
Very interesting. Did not know. CEU earned.
Many CEUs earned. Let's move along to media, shall we? All right. So I finished Queen of the Universe.
Oh.
We talked about that a couple of weeks ago. It's a very nice.
Have that shape up.
Well, a drag queen won the competition. Surprise, surprise. Since it was a drag queen competition.
That would do it.
That.
Hey.
Yeah.
Hey.
Her name is Crag Queen.
Okay. I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, that was the winner. Yeah. It was pretty good. And then I watched up to the current episodes of a new series on Disney called The Book of Boba Fett.
Oh.
If you're a Star Wars aficionado, you know that Jon Favreau created The Mandalorian, and now he has now created The Book of Boba Fett because, of course, no spoilers, but Boba Fett was a Mandalorian, and that's why. Yeah.
Connections.
Yes, connections made.
Les connexions de la ville, de les fromages et les ordinateurs.
Right. French. There was French that just happened. I'm caught up. I'm caught up on the most recent season of Young Sheldon.
Yay!
And I kind of like this season better than the other ones because they're not so Sheldon centric.
Oh, good.
They're starting to.
I think you're one season ahead, so that's actually exciting to know because Sheldon he's so annoying. I need something else.
Yeah. I mean, they've got now. I think there's like 4 or 5 different storylines going that aren't part of Sheldon.
Cool.
So it's kind of. I mean, he pokes his little stuff.
Oh
in there,
yeah. I mean, he's got it.
But it's not all about him, which is kind of nice.
Yeah, that's exciting.
And sometimes they're all running simultaneously. Speaking simultaneous, do you say simultaneous or simultaneous?
I say simultaneous. What do you say?
All right. I say simultaneous too, but I heard somebody say simultaneous the other day, and I was like,
oh, really?
My little head went like a dog. Going,
What? Is that right?
Simultaneous?
I haven't heard it that way.
Well, words are so strange. So I was sitting at dinner. Mom was over for dinner the other day, and we were talking about heating units. And she called something the radiator.
The radiator?
The radiator.
For whatever reason, as soon as you say that, I think rutabaga. And so you've got the radiator rutabaga on a mutabaga, and that doesn't work.
And I looked and I said, "You mean a radiator?" She's like, "Yeah, radiator." Like,
no, radiator.
Okay. How do you say the word radiat? She says radiate. I said, "Okay." How do you say radiator? Radiator. Like, no.
It's the same word. Come on.
It's only got or at the end. Anyway, words are funny. So, and then while I was dad sitting the other night, I binged the entire season of Cowboy Bebop.
Oh,
on Netflix. I don't know if you've heard of this or not, but
I think I have. I haven't seen anything about it. I don't know anything about it, but I think I've heard of it.
It's got the Asian guy from White Castle movie.
Oh,
John Cho. That's what it is. Yeah, he's the lead character.
He's on the show. John Cho is on the show.
He's the lead character on the show. Yes. So apparently there is an anime cartoon of the same name, and so this show is based on it.
Oh yeah, that's what I've heard. I've heard of the cartoon. I haven't seen the cartoon, but I think that's the one I've heard. Yeah, not that it actually mattered. I'm not actually adding to the conversation. Apparently, oh yeah, I've heard of that, but I haven't seen or know anything about it. Oh no, I was wrong. It's the other one I saw that I haven't seen and don't know anything about. So yeah, we are all enlightened. The CEUs are just flowing right now.
Flowing.
Talk about barely information facts.
Right. Right.
I got him.
Right. That's like the joke about the gal that went into the pharmacy and she needed some pads for her down there because, it was that time of the month.
Okay.
And the pharmacist says, "Well, what kind of flow do you have?" And she says, "It's linoleum. What difference does that make?" And
okay.
But Cowboy, I know, but Cowboy Bebop, it's very violent. So if you're a sensipup and you don't like violence, you may not like it. It's very
Good to know.
very violent. I think the body count. I'd have to say the entire series, the body count probably rivals that of John Wick. If you've ever
I do love John Wick.
okay,
But
do you know that John Wick has one of the highest body counts in all moviedom?
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Yep.
Well, he's a crazy cow like that, I guess.
Crazy cow. Yeah. So.
Oh my cow.
What if you? I can't. Why my voice seems to be cracking a little bit. Apparently, I didn't listen very well to Ben when he told us how to be a voice actor.
Yeah, work on that.
But what have you been watching?
Well, I do need to start watching Agretsuko,
Agretsuko, yes.
which every other fur knows about and everything, but I need to start watching that.
Well, that's because you were hyper focused on Jack and
I was so
and Lego
hyper-focused.
She. So
I
you
know.
know.
Oh, I know. Can't
Yeah.
help. I'm glad you understand. So that's true. But now I know to do that. And so for as Bearly mentioned, the guest coming up in a little bit on this today's podcast, puppacast, whatever. I don't know what it's called, but is Ben Diskin the voice actor for both of those? And so we'll talk a little bit about Jack and Beastars and Agretsuko. Anyway, so I need to start watching that. But what we have watched, we finished season 2 of Lock and Key. We talked about that, I think, last week. And
Yes,
we finished.
yes, we did.
We finished season 4, the most recent season of Cobra Kai. And at the very end of the last episode, like at the very
Yes.
end before they roll the credits, it says, there will be another season. So we can all be
Ooh,
excited about that.
How exciting!
Woo!
Yes, hooray!
I know how much you are excited about that, but I'm just saying. Anyway, so, and then Pretty Smart, I talked about that.
Yes.
Oh yeah, with Gabby from Young and Hungry and
that
everything,
other
and
shit, yeah.
how she's better now in this one. And we finished the first season. There's only 10 episodes, and two notable just little dialogues.
Yes.
From one is, I don't remember exactly what they're doing. Something about, so there's Selena and Grant and Chelsea. And Selena is, I don't know, she's listening with everyone to her memos, that her memos are talking to her or something, because she recorded them, the voice and all that stuff. And Selena says, I like how it reads out loud. And Grant says, Grant's not the smartest pickle in the haystack.
So he's not the smart of Pretty Smart.
He's not the smart of Pretty Smart. He's actually the
Okay,
pretty of
gotcha.
Pretty Smart, but he's not the smart of Pretty Smart.
Okay.
Or one of
There we
the
go.
pretties. Anyway,
I'll
so
get you, my pretty.
he says, that should be a thing, he says. They should call it a sound book. And Chelsea says, you mean an audio book? And Grant says, no, a sound book.
Okay.
It's just funny. And then the second thing, so there's Jaden. Jaden's the gay boy of the show.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
No, I mean... I just have to point that out, even though it has nothing to do with like
Okay.
the skit or anything. So,
What you're gonna say?
but
yeah.
anyway, so there's a gay boy. Every fur, watch out. No, but so Jaden and Claire are talking about their problems and their feelings for Dave and Grant, and it doesn't. I mean, you have to see the episode. So there's Dave, Grant, and everything, and Jaden and Claire are talking about them. And Jaden, because.
All right.
Well, I guess I should say Claire is having like boy troubles because there's Dave and there's Grant and boy troubles. So they're talking about it, and Jaden says, well, you have to do what's in your heart and go with your feelings. And Claire says, you know, you're right. I guess I just have to let sleeping dogs cry. And that was just hilarious. It's just so... Anyway, Claire is a little bit of a blonde too, but anyway, It
sounds like a cool show because I think they like plays on words, which
Yeah.
I like.
No, it is.
So those kind of things.
The first episode
Yeah.
is, I mean, it's not horrible, but it's like, it just seems like it's mediocre and everything. But, you know, you watch it, and it turned out to be, I think, a pretty good show. I'm looking forward to seeing if there's a season 2 anyway. So.
Yeah. Well, you know, we made a pun earlier today about taking something for granted.
Yeah.
And they used that line on Friends years ago.
Oh.
Phoebe said, "Take it for granted," and then because she says, "Well, you know what it is? It's a dog-eat-dog world."
Yeah.
And they're like, "What?" She says, "Yeah, it's a dog-eat-dog world. It's all about doggies." They're like, "No, that's not that phrase."
Oh,
No. Like,
that's adorable. That's cute. It's a doggy dog.
yeah, it's a dog-eat-dog
Eewee,
world.
eewee.
Doggy-dog. Eewee.
Eewee,
Doggy-dog.
Okay. But yeah, so that's my media for the week.
That's your media for the week. Okay. Well, you know what? I would like to get to play some this or that with you before we get to Ben.
So I have one little tiny thing to say before we play this or that.
Okay. What is your tiny thing?
It's a random thing that came. So in my email, I'm subscribed to like this math service thing and stuff. And every now and then, I don't know, I get crazy random things in there for some reason. And a random thing that came in my email recently was, the question was, this is like a question answer forum thing. And the question was, how did Gollum know Frodo was, well, Frodo? Gollum never met Frodo before, and somehow he knew Frodo was a Baggins. Any explanations?
Okay.
And someone had his explanation, which is, that isn't obvious. I've reread the chapter where Frodo and Sam meet Gollum in the Emmy and Mule, and they didn't introduce themselves explicitly. But it was clear to Gollum that Frodo bore the ring and was Sam's master. So I didn't know he was Sam's master, but okay. He may also have recognized a physical resemblance to Bilbo. Also, he had been tracking them all the way since Moria and may have overheard something say Frodo's name.
Yeah.
And that is the end of that. So it wasn't really an answer, just like a like conscious dump of speculations. And I thought I'd share that with every fur because, well, Iwi.
And we talked about Bilbo Baggins a number of episodes ago, and I dropped in the clip of Spock singing Bilbo Baggins.
Did you?
Leonard Nimoy singing, but he had a song called Bilbo Baggins that he sang.
I'll have to go back and listen to that. I don't remember that.
Yeah, Leonard Nimoy actually recorded a singing album where he sang songs on it.
Oh, I do remember something about this. Yeah. I was coming back.
And one of them was the Ballad of Bilbo Baggins.
Nice. Have to go back to that. Right.
Yeah. All right, this or that. I have this book of 3001 this or that questions, and we are up to number 58.
Of 3001. Yay! Woo! We got
have
a
a way
ways
to go. Yeah, we got a ways to go. All right.
Way to go.
Would you rather Yo, dude. Hey, way to go. Gnarly. Catch some tubes, man. Anyway, would you rather sleep upside down or swim right side up? That makes no sense. What is that kind of question?
That makes absolutely no. So I'll just go ahead and
thing.
They're not. I think I'll just go ahead and swim right side up.
Okay, good. Okay. Swell. Would you rather be struck by lightning or get swept up in a tornado?
I don't like either choice.
Okay.
I think as long as the tornado is using a Hoover, I'd be okay being swept up.
Yes.
But actually, no, Hoover doesn't make like sweeping brushes, though. They only make the vacuum things. Who makes sweeping brushes?
O-Cedar.
So as long as the tornado's using O-Cedar,
yeah,
then I'll just go with that.
Well, there's the possibility you would be dropped in Oz, if you get sucked up in a tornado.
That's true.
Yeah.
That would be fun. So we'll just
might
go
be
with that route.
Right. And then getting struck by lightning, there's an old joke about 4 guys go golfing, and they were gone all day. All day. They left at 8 o'clock in the morning. They got back after dark, and it was the summertime. And his wife says, well, what took you so long to play 18 holes of golf? He says, well, on the 3rd hole, a thunderstorm came up, and Ralph got hit by lightning.
Oh, no.
And she's like, oh, that's horrible. Did you take him to the hospital? He said, no. But we had to finish the golf, so it was always like, hit the ball, drag Ralph. Hit the ball, drag Ralph. Hit the ball, drag Ralph.
Oh, Ralph, you're causing so many problems.
Okay. Would you rather... Okay, this is dumb. Okay, I'm going to send a letter to these people because this is the dumbest question. Would you never eat pasta for the rest of your life or only eat spaghetti for the rest of your life?
I'm having trouble parsing all of that.
Yeah.
Even. I'll go with the only spaghetti, I guess.
Okay. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I don't know. That's just kind of a strange little thing here. All right.
I am a strange little thing here, though.
Would you wear the same color every day or the same style of shirt every day?
Well, I don't know. I think I'll save this question for later because, one, it's the shirt that procrastinate and I'm trying to make my joke is not working.
Throwback to 10 minutes ago.
It's like, so that the shirt I guess I'll wear is that one that okay.
All right.
We'll just skip that.
Okay. Okay, well, I kind of wear the same style of the shirt every day now. I wear a t-shirt every day, so it's Anyway.
Which means that you're golfing every day too, because you have a T-shirt.
T-shirt. That's pun acceptable.
Yay, me!
It's like, would you rather have hands made of pencils or toes made of markers? What the heck?
We're only like 58 in, and they already are losing it. They have no idea. They're just making things up. I'll go with markers, I guess, so I can be colorful.
I guess. Toe markers, I don't know. Okay, well,
let's be done with that.
That was a really bad session of this or that. Sorry, folks, friends, and Mubarak fluff all the way around. So, yeah. With that, this time, I would like to get to our guest, Mr. Benjamin Diskin. Now, before we get to the interview, I have to apologize ahead of time for the audio on the interview.
Oh, no.
I take full responsibility. It was a crappy day. I was late getting to the session. I didn't check all the channels properly. But Bixby did an excellent job of cobbling together the interview from cloud-based backup files.
Yay, technology.
Yes. However, he had to take a track that was already compiled together of everybody and strip my audio out because it never recorded my track.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh.
So, and I didn't do that check that I always do. Do I have all the recordings going?
Oh, is that what happened? Okay,
yeah,
okay.
So
I see. Okay.
So I mean, the whole thing was done. I closed it down. The next morning, I went to download all the audio, and it was like, "Where's mine?
Why am I not
here.
Talking?" Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, "Oh crap." So anyway,
okay.
But thanks to Bixby, you did a great job. Kudos, extra kudos, and let's get to talking to Ben.
Yeah, let's do that. And I'm really glad. That's really exciting because when I saw those in the show notes, like, oh no, I can't even imagine what happened. But now I understand. So yes, kudos, Bixby, and no for blames you, Bearly. We all love you, and everything's going to be great, especially now that we get to talk to Mr. Ben Diskin. I wag.
Joining us today is Ben Diskin. Welcome to the show, Ben.
Thank you so much. It's good to be here.
It is wonderful to have you here.
Oh, shucks.
Well, Taebyn usually asks some questions, so Taebyn, go ahead and ask some questions to our wonderful, wonderful guest.
Our wonderful Ben, as it were. How have you been, Ben?
Ben has been good. Thank you so much, Taebyn, for asking.
Thank you, Taebyn. Hey, it just works out. It was a match made in heaven or something
Indeed.
like that. Indeed. So, to all our furs that don't know, Mr. Ben Diskin here is this amazing voice actor that is very prolific. Ben done the voices for many, many, many things. So first, before we get into that, tell us, Ben, and can I call you Ben, Mr. Ben?
Yes, you may. I prefer that. Only my father calls me Benjamin, and only when I'm in trouble, so sure.
Oh, you're not in trouble yet, so I won't act as your father.
Benjamin!
There you go, exactly. So, how long have you been voice acting, and how did you get into it?
Oh, okay, let's see. I think I've been voice acting for about 33 years now.
Wow, that's a long time.
Yeah, no,
So you're at least 33 years old.
That's correct, yes.
Oh, nice, okay.
Yeah, I started when I was probably around, I want to say 6 years old, because I remember not knowing how to read, and they had scripts, and so the director would just say, "This is the line, Ben, just say these words," and I go, "Okay." So it was that kind of thing. But yeah, it was just commercials and for like radio and TV and stuff like that back then. And then I started transitioning away from on-camera stuff towards voiceover, mostly at around 10 years old. Still did the occasional things, but it was kind of like, I feel like this is kind of more my speed than the on-camera stuff. And I got into this just because both my parents are actors. They're both of the baby boomer generation, so very much the you need to go to college, you need to get a degree, otherwise you will not get work. And I'm like, oh my gosh, okay. So it was, you better make sure you have some income so that you'll be able to pay for college once that comes around. And so that was the whole point, was just work as a kid, save up some money, and then pay for college. And I did, and I went to college, and I got a degree, and it wound up absolutely not helping me at all because the voiceover thing just stuck around. So it was like, oh, cool. Well, my mom's happy. So my degree is hanging up in my parents' place. So that's nice for them.
Yes, very nice. What was the degree in?
Television and film.
Oh, okay. Related, but not the same avenue, as it were.
No, but I mean, basically, it's, I know what the phrase mise en scène means. I can make jokes about rolling some duct tape around the floor and say, tape's rolling, everybody, be quiet. That's basically all I remember from the entire, 4 years that I went to college to get that, so.
Well, that
Yeah.
was 4 years well worth spent, let me
Boy,
tell you.
howdy, no. Not that I'm advocating people don't get an education. They should, but,
Maybe not for everyone, I guess.
it's not for everyone.
So it turns out that you are very prolific, as, been doing this a long time, obviously. And so could you remind some of us furs and our listeners, what are some of the things that you have done and stuff?
Oh, okay. Let's see here. I'm definitely not looking myself up on BTVA right now. That would be
Good,
cheating.
okay, good. That would be cheating.
Let's see. I'm in Bebo. Saves Christmas is Bebo, which is also on the CW in the Arrowverse stuff. I'm Skeletor and Prince Keldor in He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, the CG animated one. Daiki Aomine in Kuroko's Basketball, Lemris and Sig in Puyo Puyo Tetris. I'm Joseph Joestar in JoJo's Part 2. Young Xehanort in Kingdom Hearts. Number 1 and number 2 from Codename Kids Next Door. Lawrence and Caspar in Fire Emblem Three Houses. Gonzo and Rizzo in Muppet Babies. I should probably stop talking because this is going to keep going for. But the things that furries might actually care about, which I probably should have led with. Hi, I'm Haida in Agretzko, and I'm also Shiro Ogami in BNA and Jack in Beastars, and also Humphrey from the Alpha and Omega sequels. But we don't really need to talk about that.
But we don't really go. and literally, that's really only 1% of all you done. All you furs out there, go check out his wiki and see all the many things he's been on. But yes, so many things and so many things to talk about. And you mentioned you are the voice of Jack on Beastars, and that I wagged so hard about that. That's amazing. How did that come about? How did you get that part?
Well, let's see. So, Jack in Beastars, a funny story. So, I originally auditioned for the show, and they only had 2 roles available to audition for. One of them was, obviously, Legoshi, and then the other one was Louie. I tried out for both of them. I didn't get them.
Oh, really?
I know, shocking. But I got a call from Bob Buckholtz, who's the director, saying, hey, listen, we liked your stuff. We didn't want you for either one of these roles, but we do have a role for you. Hope you want to be on the show. And I said, oh my gosh, yes. What character? And he said, Bill.
Bill?
Bill the Tiger. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I remember hearing that, and I'm like, Bill. Because I'd read the manga, and I was familiar with the show, and I'm like, Bill. Me, Bill. God, no, I'm wrong for this character. And so, I normally don't do this, but I, wrote back to him, and I said, hey, listen, I've been thinking about this all weekend. Look, I really want this show to sound good. I'll be honest with you. You could get somebody so much better for Bill. Please give this role to somebody else. I'm just not right for it. And then he wrote back and he said, oh, well, I'm sorry to hear. We do have this other one, though. It's, this guy named Jack. You want to play Jack? And I said, oh, I could nail Jack. Bad choice of words, but still, yeah. But yes, that's how I got it is by turning down Bill. They hired me for Jack.
You obviously know it's a furry podcast by the words you just said.
No. Ooh. Let's keep this PG, Ben. Ooh.
Yeah, definitely. I'm so glad we haven't scared you off yet. Us on the other paw, I must say. So yeah, that's really cool and interesting about the Bill thing. Definitely, I could see you wouldn't exactly. That's not quite you, but yeah, Jack totally is the part. So what is your favorite part of working on Beastars, and what's it like working with Jonah Scott and everyone and all that good stuff?
Oh boy, that second part is hard to answer because, like all anime, we do this one character at a time, and so because Jack has so many fewer lines than Legoshi does, I basically wind up finishing the entire season as Jack in maybe 2 sessions. So, I'm completely done before I even hear any of, Jonah's performance. So I'm just well, I hope it sounds good, because I don't know. And then I'll get some sort of, a message from him, on, Messenger going, you sound great. I sound terrible. Oh, God, everybody's going to hate this. And I have to write back and I'm no, Jonah, you sound good and you're a good actor. Trust me, it's going to be great. It's are you sure? Yes, you're still talented, just like you were in season 1.
It didn't go away all of a sudden.
Yeah. So yeah,
still
no.
Got it. You still got it.
You still got it. You can still play the Lego boy. Yeah, it's It's yeah, no, it's a fun show. I guess my favorite part is just it's nice to play like the one just sort of innocent character who's just trying to live his life in this series with so much drama and violence. It's just like, hi, I'm Jack. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure he has his own dramatic moments coming up, but it's not as bad as like, yeah, anyway, so I'm gonna go murder somebody. See ya. Like that's not a no.
That is very true.
So do any of the shows you work on, are you ever in a studio with a bunch of other actors, or do you do it all solo and then they just piece it all together now?
So that's hard to say. It used to be, in original animation, we'd all get together in one room and we all act alongside each other. Anime, no, it's always been separate, just because dubbing at the same time is really not good unless the picture is, like, very, very incomplete and we're not dubbing to completed picture, but we always are. So, yeah, but now with COVID being a thing, we're all kind of doing everything remotely, so sometimes it's kind of like we get on Zoom, so we can hear each other, but then we record ourselves and we send in our audio files, and then they mix it together.
Oh, wow.
That's much like the
quite a
podcast
process.
right now.
Exactly, yes.
Wow, that's very cool. So you like working on it, but it's not like the normal. Like when I think of someone working on a big project with something, I think of, okay, they're together and everything, and so they get to have like this rapport between other actors working on the show and everything, but it's kind of separate at times for you then.
Oh, yeah. Well, for anime, a lot of times is like, I'm going to a convention. I guess I'm going to meet people for the first time who I've been on stuff with. You know, it's that kind of thing. Or it's like we all just kind of know each other, and so we all go get coffee together or beers or something like that. And it's like, oh, you're the guy who's in the thing with me doing the other thing. Oh, okay, now I got a face and a name. Neat.
You did such a great job when you did that thing, yeah.
Yeah, that thing that you did with the thing. It was fantastic that we probably can't talk about because non-disclosure agreement. But yeah, good work.
How can you sound different in real life than you do when you're on recording?
Yeah. I thought you'd be cool. Ugh.
Speaking of cool, what is your favorite thing about... I think I actually know, you already said this, but what is your favorite thing about Jack?
My favorite thing about Jack is that he is a dog, and I love dogs. They're very cute and very sweet.
It turns out I'm one of those.
Excellent. Well, then you are excellent by default because you are a dog.
By no fault of your own, that's the default. I wag. Once again, I wag. This is turning out so great. So, this I happened to just see just today. You actually tweet about this, but for let them know, how do you pronounce Legoshi?
Oh, yes, it's pronounced Legoshi. It is based on Bela Lugosi, who's everybody calls Bela Lugosi, which is not the actual way to pronounce his name. So basically, his character's name is actually pronounced Legoshi, not Legosi. And that's just something that people kind of get a little twisted. But yeah, that's what that is. So we are saying it right.
And I mean, you don't want it to be Lego C because that's the below grade version of Legos. You want the Lego A, not
that's
the Lego
right.
C. Yeah, definitely.
Great joke.
I got there eventually, but I had to work for it. So thank you so much for that. So yeah, you do voices in anime, video games, and quote-unquote Western animation seems to be the main styles. So do you approach these different styles differently, or do you have like a common way you kind of approach all three of these different styles?
It's not about the medium, it's about the project. Because, for instance, there are anime out there that have like this very, very grounded, like neutral tone that sounds like oh, I'm watching some like on-camera crime drama, that kind of thing. And then you also have, children's anime, which has a lot of that like, let's go save the world, guys! Yeah! That sort of sound. And so you'd have, obviously, if it's like, hey guys, let's go solve a murder! Yeah! Like that sounds terrible, so you wouldn't approach it that way. But like... Yeah, no, also, like, a lot of Western animation nowadays is leaning away from, like, very cartoony voices and going for more natural-sounding voices. So,
really?
There's a lot of, like, mixture nowadays. So I approach each project just sort of by itself without really much consideration about video games or anime or pre-layered Western animation, that kind of stuff. It's definitely, what does this project call for? That's how it goes.
It all has like its own, and every project has its own context, and so you have to pay attention to that. So that
yes.
Yeah. So then I was going to say, which do you prefer? But they're all different. Is there a type, maybe some genre or some type of thing you really prefer?
I like doing comedies. They're fun. I like being funny more than I like being dramatic. I guess if it's something funny, I will definitely get a kick out of it. If it's something like super serious, then I'm like, okay, all right, can I throw a joke in there, please? This is very sad. So, yeah.
So B-Stars, then, for you, must be very interesting, I would imagine, because Jack, as you said, he's like the happy pup. He's the excited one, and he doesn't tell like jokes all the time, but he's happy and bubbly. But then there's all this other, I don't want to say decay around you, but there's all these other kind of downer things around you. So is that right? That is kind of an interesting experience since you like the comedy a little bit more?
Sort of, yeah. I mean, Jack still has his sad moments for sure, and I'm sure in season 3 he's gonna probably go through some stuff he went through in the manga, which is more serious, but it's not too crazy for me because the show is not really a comedy, and my character isn't necessarily comic relief, but he's definitely the more lighthearted person. Kind of like the person who's just sort of smiling and walking around going like, everything's fine, making himself some coffee while the building is on fire. And he's like, no, I'm sure it'll work out. It's fine. It's fine. I swear it's fine. So it's sadness and comedy mixed together.
It's a tangled world in which we live, I guess.
Yes.
So every project is a different context. And so you have to approach those just within that context, within that lens. Now, for each of these projects, are they all your own creation or something that gets developed? Well, I guess you said they already had the idea of, Bill and ask you for Bill and everything. Is that an outlier, or do you normally come in and have your own spin on the character?
Well, I mean, it's a collaborative effort, so, I definitely can't come in and, bowl over the director and go, no, we're doing things my way. It's definitely oh, well, how did if it's the case of anime, for instance, how did the original performance go? What was the original intent? Let's try to stick kind of close to that. And then in some cases, it's, you know what, that didn't work. That's not working for an American audience, so we have to, shift away from that. So, yeah, I would say most of the time I'll try to come in with an idea of the character, but it's always a lump of wet clay. It's never a finished product. It's, yes, let's shape this thing into something else if it's not quite working. So the goal is, as an actor, is I'm trying to help you make a good show, but I'm definitely not going to tell you what that show is. So I will be malleable is the idea.
Malleable. This is a wonderful word. Say that word again.
Malleable.
You say it so
Malleable.
Malleable, even. You have to put this emphasis on the right syllable.
Correct.
Yeah.
Excuse me, correct.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. So the end product of the show will probably just, generally speaking, I would imagine, generally be what was meant to be, but it's maybe morphed into something a little bit different than originally concepted.
Yeah, I can say that, sure.
That was a complicated train of thought, David.
It was a sentence right there, yeah.
I don't even know who am I and where did Taebyn go? I mean, come on.
That was amazing.
I think the last word I said wasn't a real word, but I made it through. I pushed through. I weigh. That's the sentence that I just said. So, speaking of another current show that you're on is Gretsuko. In case you didn't know, that's a show you're currently working on.
Thank you for letting me know. Technically, I'm not, because, we finished season 4, so I'm back to being unemployed.
Oh, well. And as we say here in the Podiverse, that's 3 holes in the ground.
Well.
So, could you tell us, because actually this pup has never seen a Gretsuko. Oh, I'm so naughty, but I admitted my fallacies. So could you please tell us and any further that doesn't know about this show, that is a very popular show, could you tell us about the show and tell us about your character?
Yeah, sure. Agretzko is a show about a young woman who is a red panda, and she works in the accounting department of a trading firm in Japan. It's basically sort of a slice-of-life rom-com. It's about her trying to figure out what she wants out of life, how to deal with various stresses at work, how to deal with parental figures and romance and all sorts of things that just keep happening to her, and trying to figure out just how to live a quiet, peaceful life, despite the fact that life just does not seem to want to let her live a quiet, peaceful life.
Oh, poor panda.
Yeah, but she's cool. And her shtick is that in order to deal with the stresses at work, she has a secret, which is that she goes to karaoke parlors and screams death metal. It's a show by the guys who made Hello Kitty about a swearing red panda who screams death metal. It's a very unusual show, but it's very charming.
It's very charming all at the same time.
Yes.
Very good. And it's about a pet panda. Why? It's a furry thing. Why have I not seen this yet? I don't know. But I am just a pup. I don't do things. And so, what is your character on the show?
Sure, my character, his name is Haida. He is a hyena who works in the same department as her, and he has a crush on her, and she does not know he exists. So he's like, please notice me, and she's just like, anyway, I'm gonna go do literally anything else. And so then he's like, oh god, my life sucks, and then he drinks himself into a stupor.
I mean, right there, that you got me hooked. Is there? I thought I heard. There's a season 5 coming out, isn't there?
Yeah, we did get confirmed for season 5, but I don't know when it's gonna come out, and I don't know what it's gonna be about.
Oh, you were in the dark.
I am totally in the dark. Yes.
I'm sure each episode will be about 30 minutes.
Or
Or 22.
Probably more like 15 or 10.
Oh, 15 or 10. Wow.
Oh, yeah,
okay.
this show you can binge like every season in like maybe 2.5 hours.
Oh, okay. Well, there you
Oh,
go.
I got my lunchies like spread out for me for the next like week, I guess. That's all. Awesome.
Excellent.
So, okay, well, you kind of just said, I was going to say, what other projects are you working on? But maybe you're in between projects now?
Oh, yeah, well, also, like, there are certain things I can't talk about, because if I talk about them, I'll get in trouble. So I am working on some stuff, and they're cool, and they're neat.
And they're neat.
They're
That's all I
neat.
need to know. I wag. That is all I need to know.
Excellent.
So I'm exciting. I'm exciting. I mean, I'm excited, and I'll be looking for it. I'm very not exciting, so let's not do that.
Maybe you're exciting, too. You can be both.
I can be both. I'll just be both. I be both. And I also be asking you another question if you're ready, Mr. Ben.
That's a segue if I ever heard one, baby.
Yeah. My English word down on the I don't even know what's going on. So I'm going to ask you some questions that you get asked all the time.
Oh, boy.
Yay! You'll be like, Taebyn, please don't ask, because, well, as you said, everyone's asking me this all the time. But I'll ask you anyway, because I am just a pup. So,
Okay.
what are your favorite, and so basically 2 separate questions, your favorite and most challenging roles?
Okay. I mean, that changes, like, on the daily. Right now, it's still Haida from Agretzko because season 4 just came out, and I'm like, listen, if you want me to go down a rabbit hole, I can talk about this show for, like, hours on end. This podcast will never end, and you'll want to kill me. But I love that show very much, and I love my character, well, most of the time. And the most challenging role? I mean, vocally, it would probably be Venom from Spectacular Spider-Man because it was just this massive, it was like swallowing glass every session. It was just a very, very vocally stressful voice to do. From an acting perspective, not necessarily the most challenging, but just like a lot of stuff at all times.
So, was that for the movie?
No, Spectacular
Oh.
Spider-Man was a animated series in the early mid-2000s, I think, 2008, I want to say.
Venom is now becoming more and more prolific in stuff,
Yes.
so that's why I was just kind of wondering. So.
Yes, our good buddy Tom Hardy, nailing it in the movie roles.
Yeah.
Very cool.
He likes his French bread. It's very hearty.
What?
No.
No.
I mean,
No.
You know,
no.
No.
not
Okay.
that one. No.
That's going to be edited out. It's
Well, or they're going to be some really bad sound effects that go over that. Yes, exactly.
That's one of them.
That's the one of them. Yes.
So you segued actually nice into what I have to ask now about your vocal range. So you've been in many different roles for many different, reasons and things like that. You have this huge vocal range from high to low to, all the technical terms in between. Did it take a lot of work to get where you are today, or was it natural?
So when I was, I want to say 16, I was still being hired for and auditioning for the role of the young boy in everything because I was the young boy. And I was like, oh, but I want to try other things. I want to be like, I want to be the old man, and I want to be the middle-aged man, and I want to be the monster. And I would be routinely told by casting directors like, oh, no, thank you. Here's your role. Audition for this. And when I was 16, for some reason, a casting director, I will not mention who they are, said to me, I wanted to audition for the villain in a show, and they said in an extremely patronizing tone, they were like, no, the bad guy is in his 50s. Why don't you read for the little boy? And that was like the straw that broke the camel's back. So I was just like, that effing does it. I'm going to stretch my vocal range as far as humanly possible, and I'm going to play everything but the little kids. And so I basically just worked on it a lot for many, many years, just stretching and pulling until I was able to go really, really high and really, really low. And all of that twisting and turning of my voice has probably messed me up in some way, but I'm very delighted to play a wide range of characters now. And I mean, as far as advice for anybody who wants to do that, it's basically a muscle. It's like if you want to get flexible, well, you don't slam yourself down into the splits, but you do slowly but surely stretch out every day until finally, eventually you'll get there. And that's the same idea. So you try to like do the highest pitched voice you possibly can, even if it's just this, I'm doing this is the best I can do. The lowest voice, even if this is the lowest thing I can do. And eventually you start pulling it higher and higher and higher and higher and higher and higher. And then lower and lower and lower and lower and lower. And then eventually you wind up getting that kind of range, and then you start figuring out how can I act through this voice. And then, and then you make sure you have some good throat care remedies on hand, like tea, cough syrup, that kind of stuff. Yeah, well, there you go.
There you go.
Cool. Work those muscles. Do it. Like Richard Simmons would say, I guess.
Squeeze that throat.
Squeeze that.
Squeeze those together, ladies. Make one good one out of it. Yeah.
Oh, indeed. Wow. Oh my cow. That's wonderful.
Oh.
So, more stuff that you've done. There's more. Can you believe it? There's even more. Every fur out there, can you believe there's even more he's done? So, Mr. Ben here has also done some acting in film. You've done some live acting in film and TV. Some again, lots of stuff out there. As I say, every fur, check out Ben's wiki. He's got all his stuff, his TV, his film, his everything. So voice acting and live acting are, of course, obviously different things. But I would imagine different people would approach the two things in different ways and have their own different viewpoints about what's different for them. So what is the differences between the things for you, and how does that make you feel?
Sure. Okay. Let's see. It makes me feel sad. No, I'm just kidding. No, the difference is, one, you gotta memorize your dang lines for, which is something I'm not fond of. And it also means you have to be kind of paying close attention to what your body is doing, what your face is doing, what your hands are doing, where you're standing and all that stuff, which is not necessary. So, I mean, the interesting thing about it is that when you're doing on-camera work, you have all of your different senses about you. The way you're looking at somebody, the way you're moving, the way you're gesturing, and of course your voice and all that stuff, it all plays into it. But when you're doing voiceover, none of that stuff really matters, so you have to focus 100% on the way you sound. And it's interesting because when you see people who are primarily on-camera people doing voiceover, what you'll hear, for instance, is, as an example, the line is, I don't know, give that back. Here's the line. Give that back. Give that back. Give that back. And those are 3 takes. And there you go, what did you think of those 3 takes? And you go, they all sound exactly the same. But what you don't realize is that the actor is actually changing their body language and making a different face as they say the exact same thing that sounded the exact same way, because they're so used to performing with their body. And when you're in voice, you can't do that. So it really depends on like what direction you're coming from. Like I look at on camera and I go, oh my God, I have to remember all this stuff, and I have to be like cognizant of what my body is doing. Oh no, I hate this. And then they come into voiceover and they're like, wait, I can't use all the tools in my arsenal? Oh my God, I hate this. So it's like there's a learning curve in both. I mean, not everybody hates it. That's not fair.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I mean, the one exception where things are like kind of in the middle is motion capture for video games, where you do have to remember stuff, but you're also not necessarily in wardrobe and makeup. You have a bunch of dots all over your face, and you're wearing an outfit that has a bunch of like balls of tape that can be tracked.
Mm-hmm.
And then you still got to remember your lines, but there's not like an actual world around you. It's just a bare stage with like some basic props. And then there's also a lot of voiceover connected with that, where it's like, all right, this scene is going to be motion captured, but then we're going to do the rest of it in a voiceover booth. So it's kind of like you kind of have your cake and you eat it too. It's that sort of thing.
That's kind of like the couple that went to the orphanage to adopt a little girl, and they brought out Kate and Edith, but the woman couldn't decide, and they said, "Well, you can't have your Kate and Edith too."
That's nice. That's a much better joke than I was going to make, because I was going to talk about Haru and rabbit holes. So I mean, good work. Go into that. Yeah, that's yeah. Way to keep it clean. That was much better.
So you've actually won some things too. Tell us about your Young Artist and Emmy Awards.
Oh, okay, sure. The Young Artist Award, that was actually for a movie I did called Kindergarten Cop with Arnold Schwarzenegger, where he plays a cop who's pretending to be a kindergarten teacher undercover.
Is that 80s?
And, I'm sorry?
Was that from 80s?
Yes.
Yeah.
I want to say late 80s.
Old school. Okay.
Or early 90s, probably, when it finally came out. We recorded it in late 80s. But, that was just, it was for the entire ensemble, for all the kids. So, like, everybody who was a kid in the classroom was, like, part of that. And the Emmy Award I got was for Baby Gonzo and Baby Rizzo in the 2018 CG animated Muppet Babies reboot,
Nice.
which... Yeah, that was one of those things I'm like, well, I mean, I'll go to this event, but, like, I ain't gonna win it. And then I got surprised, and I'm like, oh, I better thank everybody who worked on it real fast, because I don't really have anything planned. So that was, that was fun. That's cool.
So were you?
Cool.
So you were a child in Kindergarten Cop? Is that what I'm hearing? You were
Yes.
a child actor. So because they filmed that up here in Astoria, in Oregon.
That's right, yes.
Yeah, yeah,
I didn't know that.
They did,
That's
yeah.
craziness.
yeah.
See, you earned right there. Wow.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay. So you were a youngin' back then.
I sure was. I was a wee lad.
So wee lad.
Weren't we all? Exactly. No, that's very cool. So you didn't know when you went to the Emmys. You didn't know. They just said you're nominated. Come to this and have fun with popcorn or something.
I wish. No, I had to, like, rent a tux and look all fancy and stuff. I was like, can I just show up wearing, like, cargo pants and a stupid graphic tee? And they were like, no, it's a nice event, Ben. I'm like, all right, fine. So I got dressed and looked nice and then got surprised.
Surprise. So when they read your name, what happened to you?
I think I, like, stumbled out of my chair and went, what the F? And then, like, went up on stage and didn't say that, thankfully, into the microphone. And then I don't remember exactly what I said. All I remember is I quickly just said, I want to thank, and then, like, diarrhea of the mouth, every single name I could possibly think of who worked on the show. And then went, thank you so much, goodbye! And then, like, ran off stage because I thought somebody was playing a prank and was going to take it away.
Yeah, good for you. And to this day, they rue the day they weren't faster and could take that away before you got off stage.
Someday they'll find out where I live and they'll come get it. That's what I'm waiting for.
And where
That's what
is it sitting right now?
It is not sitting in the bathroom, which is
Okay.
always where everybody thinks it is. No, it's I have like a
Why would
bookshelf.
you put your Emmy in the bathroom?
I think it's a joke. I believe. I
Okay.
think, but it seems like the most common joke is everybody goes like, "What do you use it for? Do you put like toilet paper rolls on it?" And I'm like, no. So no, I keep it clean-ish, and it stands on a bookshelf that contains no books because I am a gross Philistine and I don't read. I just play video games. So it's full of
Nice.
video games.
Nice.
My video game cabinet
Very-
and my Emmy cabinet.
Nice.
So, every fur is going to be excited to know, if they don't know already, you, Mr. Ben, you were a guest of honor at AnthroCon 2019.
Correct.
All you furs, jump up and down and wag your tails and all that if you didn't know, because that's all exciting. So, yes, Ben, you were a guest of honor at AnthroCon 2019. I was at AnthroCon only once, and in 2018, I missed you by a whole year, which is a very long
Oh.
time, actually. So I don't know why I bring that up. So never mind.
Okay.
But, so
Well, thanks
What
for
am
that
I-
useless information. We
I am
wonder-
so happy to give you useless information. I'm
Good
very,
boy.
I'm very good at that.
tummy rubs for you all around.
Oh.
Yay! I'm a pup with really useless information. I'm also good at pointing out the very, very obvious.
Mm.
For example, well, this is obvious to you, Mr. Ben. How did
Okay.
that come about that you became guest of honor at AnthroCon?
Let's see. So, I think what happened was they just sent an email to my agent saying, "Hey, can we get Ben?" And I said, "Yes." And they went, "Okay, cool." I don't know why I'm making them sound like that, but yeah, that's
Kind of like us
I'm
getting
sure
you on the show here. It's like,
Exactly.
hey, can we have Ben? Sure.
Yes.
Okay, here you go.
that's basically how it goes. I wish there was a more interesting story. Like, yes, I fought off a polar bear for the opportunity. It's okay. It was a guy in a fursuit, and he went down like a sack of bricks. Turns out it wasn't necessary, and I'm in trouble with the local police, but I got in.
So there's a story about someone, I think a dither or someone on Twitter that had a fursuit for you.
Yes, Dither, I believe his Twitter name is Ditherkins, I believe, is a fursuit maker. And he reached out to me when he found out that I was going to be doing conventions just in general. And he said, like, hey, I feel like you're probably going to get invited to a big one like AnthroCon or Midwest Fur Fest or something like that. I'm going to make you a fursuit. And I was like, that's funny.
Did you know what a fursuit is?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Oh yeah, I'm not completely oblivious. Mostly, like 90%, but at least 10%. I'm like, nah, I know what that is. And I was like, oh, that's so nice of you. Because listen, I get like messages from people who are very well-meaning, but like it's like I'm gonna make my own cartoon and you're gonna be the lead, and I'm like, cool, and like that never happens. And so this dude just keeps emailing me, or well, I guess not email, like Twitter DMing, like images from like a 3D printer for like this full Haida head, and he goes, "What do you think of this?" And I'm like, that looks good. Yeah, wow. Can you do maybe a few changes? And he's like, "Yeah, you mean like this?" And I'm like, "Yeah, that looks really good." Cool. And then so he's like, "Hey, I found out about Anthrocon, so don't worry, I'm gonna be there and I'm gonna give it to you in person." I'm like, okay. And so yeah, so I went there and he really did have it ready, and I was like, okay, cool. And so I went throughout the convention just dressed as Haida from Agretzko, and
Nice.
it was really cool. It was a I believe it's called a partial fursuit, I think is the term.
Yes.
So you had the paws, the hand paws and the feet paws, the tail.
No feet stuff. The tail, yes. Hands, yes, and head. And then everything else is just whatever like costumes I had, just clothes.
So what did that feel like? Did you start getting into Haida and start feeling the character once you were in the suit?
Well, see, that's not very fair because personality-wise, I'm really, really similar to him anyway, and his voice is my regular speaking voice anyway. So, like, yes, sure, but I was already there anyway.
Nice,
so,
nice. So, okay. Big, amazingly obvious question that is on every fur's mind. Are you a furry?
No, I would describe myself as furry adjacent, furry friendly. But like
Very friendly.
do I have like a fursuit of like my own character and stuff like that, or a fursona, or like no.
You know the
Like,
words. You're amazing. I
well,
love you.
I did my research. Let me just say, I found a website called E6112 or something like that.
Oh,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I looked up some images to just be like, all right, let me just see the worst stuff. And I saw it, and I'm like, all right, you know what? If that's the worst there is, I can deal. And so, yeah. I think there was like a ratings system in that where it's like, what is literally like the lowest rated stuff? And it was just like, oh, this is horrible? Okay. All right, I've seen the worst. I'm over it. Okay, cool.
You just kind of said some things about your past here, I think, Ben, inadvertently. So that's great. That's wonderful. So that's great. You know about a fursona. So have you ever thought about, well, maybe you haven't, but then think about if you had a fursona, what would it be?
You know, I've been asked that question before, and I don't really know. I like canines, so I would say probably like maybe a wolf.
I love wolfies.
Oh, okay, cool. So I guess a wolf, but like
Okay.
I go back and forth between wolf and dragon and also a table.
A table? Nice.
Yes, as my furniture sona.
Furniture.
That's your furniture sona.
My name is Mahogany, and my pronouns are table and table.
There you go.
Nice.
The
You know,
problem
that-
is,
that-
if you go to a con that way, you just have to stand in the corner. Cause
That's true, yeah,
If you
and
would
just, like-
set things on you, their drinks, you know.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
Hey man, use a coaster. Come on.
But you'd be very helpful. You'd be very helpful. Yeah. You know, and that's very interesting because every now and then some fur will like message me and like I don't know if it's their phone or what, but they'll misspell my name and they'll say, "Hey, Table, how are you doing?" And it's like, "Oh, I'm great." So
It's got to be one of those voice to text things. Yeah.
it must be like Taebyn. What does that even mean? You've got to mean table. Okay, Table, how are you doing? I'm
As
doing
most
great.
people
You
talk to
know,
tables.
the,
Yeah.
the Coke just spilled on me, but that's okay. Here comes the maid to clean it up, so everything's going to be okay. So you are so busy with so many things. Well, typically, I mean, right now you're anyway. But so you have so many things. Do you really ever get any time for yourself? And if so, what do you like to do? Do you have any hobbies, for example?
Oh, well, I do play a lot of video games, and right now I'm stupidly obsessed with Mario Golf because I'm very, very cool. And let's see. Gosh, I am slowly, and I mean very slowly, but surely learning how to play the bass guitar. Just because I figured, you know what? I had like a whole bunch of points from round one. It's basically anime version of Dave and Buster's, and I'd accumulated like literally tens of thousands of tickets, and they had a bass guitar, and I was like, I'm going to get that, and I'm going to learn how to play it, and then I will be Haida from a Gretzko in real life.
Nice.
And then it turns out it's very difficult to play because I don't know how to play stringed instruments at all. And I'm like, oh, this is hard. Oops. So I'm just sort of stumbling through that right now. And yeah, that's I guess those are my hobbies, is video games and now stumbling through an instrument I really shouldn't have gotten.
Have you played instruments? I mean, you mentioned string instruments are hard. Have you played instruments in the past of other sorts?
I played clarinet when I was like 12, but like if you asked me to like play it now.
So did I.
Oh, hey, right on, fellow Claire.
Yeah, it's like, hey, you can play a tin whistle, so you'd be really great at the clarinet. Like, no, not really.
At least that one's nice. You don't have to tune it. I'm like, oh, okay, you press the keys and it makes the sound.
Yeah.
I'm like, ow, my fingers hurt from these strings and my fingers don't bend this way. Oh, no. Which is a thing in season 3 of Agretzko, and now I have a lot more respect for what the show was trying to say about how difficult that is.
Well, you should take up a nice instrument like the theremin, you know.
Yeah, perfect. I can do that.
Well, you know, with your clarinet, you would do really great on like string puppet shows then, because you could be the nice sister, because you would be the clarinet and there would be a marionette.
Oof.
Wow.
That was a nice
to
try.
Great length for some of these. Great length.
I am a pup.
I mean, respect for trying, okay?
Right?
You know?
Yeah, good, deep respect for trying.
Can I have some hustle points, please?
Yes.
I'll take hustle points for 500, Bob. Thank you. So, does Jack happen to be like hanging around in the living room or anything? Because I actually would like to talk to Jack, and I have a few questions for him if he happens to be around and available.
Okay, yeah, hang on a minute, wait, hang on a second. Jackie! Here, boy! I heard you don't have to whistle. Come on over, they want to talk to you. Hi! Hello? Hi.
Oh, hi, Jack! Is that you, Jack?
Yeah, what's up?
Hey, how's it going?
Pretty good. What's going on with you, Taebyn Pup? Did I say that right?
You are. Hey, how you doing? Yes, I'm a pup, and I've been a big fan of you for a long time, and you're a wonderful, sweet little doggy, and I wanted to tell you that.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much.
Well, I'm happy to do so. I have a few questions for you. If you have a few minutes to partake in your answering of my questions.
Okay, sure, yeah.
Yeah.
What's up?
Well, so how did you get so cute and fluffy? I have to know.
Well, I mean, I don't think I'm very cute, but I do shampoo my entire body multiple times a day because I kind of have a little bit of a dandruff problem, but everybody of course says, "Oh, you have a dandruff problem," which is very funny. Everybody makes that joke. But so as a result, I that's why I'm very fluffy. So yeah,
that's great. Because I've been trying to work on both of those myself as a pup, you see, and I'm working on it. I'm not quite there yet, but I'll work on that.
No, I feel you.
So you and Leoshi, you have been friends since very little pups for a very, very long time, and that's amazing. So how and where did you two meet?
Oh, well, we met when we were kids. Actually, we met kind of on a playground, and I really did not like him at all because, he's a wolf, and I'm, I mean, I don't want to say I have an inferiority complex, but it's kind of, he's big and he's kind of scary, and I didn't like him, so I was kind of a jerk to him. But then, like, we kind of got into some fights, and then we started to, like, just talk, and we realized we had a lot in common, and then we kind of became friends, and then he grew very, very large, and now he just sort of towers over me, but it's kind of weird because, like, his personality is exactly the way it was when we were little kids, so he's still, like, this shy, awkward guy who's, like, enormous and terrifying, so, it's something you get used to.
And you used to have a little beetle pet that ended up dying, I remember.
Oh, yeah, Bearly. Yeah, poor, very uncreatively named Bearly.
Very much. But you were a very, very good friend to him once that happens. Very, very good.
I'll try.
Trying is all we can do. So,
yes.
I have to ask, I think it's on every Fur's mind. In case you didn't know, you're on a podcast and there's a lot of Furs listening to us right now.
Hello. Hi, everybody.
They're all saying hello.
Yeah, Okay.
I don't know why I said it very gay like that, but I did. So
They could
I
be
guess
saying
there.
Mubark Fluff too.
They could be saying Mubark Fluff. Oh, Jack! I should tell you about Mubark Fluff. Can I tell you about Mubark Fluff?
Okay. Sure.
So Mubark Fluff, you know how in Hawaii they have the word aloha, which means like both hello and goodbye, and it's a kind of flexible type of greeting.
Uh-huh.
Well, in the fur, Mubark Fluff is that word. So, go on and spread the word of the Mubark Fluff. It's been officially ordained, so you can officially go out and spread Mubark Fluff and greet and say goodbye in the fluff like that. So now you know and you're educated.
Well, thank you very much. I'll try to work it into my lexicon.
Okay, good. I realize it might take some time, but have you ever thought about dating Legoshi?
Oh, boy, I don't really know what that would look like. I could picture like daydreaming Legoshi. I could picture maybe angry Legoshi, but like dating him? Dating Legoshi? I don't know what he would really be like that, I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't really know how to answer that question.
I have a feeling he'd be very, very shy.
Yeah, that sounds like him. It's, listen, I like the guy, but he's really gotta kind of grow a little bit of a spine. He has this whole thing with this mystery girl, and it's a thing. I can't get into it. I've seen some stuff in his room, but I won't embarrass the guy, but it's,
Probably not. Yeah, he has done some kind of evilish, murderous things to some certain animals before. So
Well,
probably,
I heard they kind of deserved it, so
That
I'm
is
not
true.
gonna hold
That
that
is true.
against him.
That's true. Good. So do you, Jack, have any hobbies? What do you do to pass the day?
Oh, well, honestly, there's kind of a lot of pressure on me in school to like be really, really well read. It's a dog thing. Basically we're bred to be very, very smart, so we kind of have to be. So I mostly just focus on my studies. Just playing some video games every once in a while. And you tell anybody, I will get very mad. But fetch, don't tell anybody. But that's a thing.
As a fellow pup, I totally understand where you're coming from there. It's secret safe with me.
Anybody listening to this, you did not hear that here. I just realized this is not a private conversation, and I shouldn't have said that out loud.
Well, maybe you should design a video game called Fetch.
See, that's a good idea. You have good. Yeah. You know what? Okay, I'm gonna get into game design. I
There
hear
you
that's
go.
real easy.
The game
And
is called
then when
Fetch.
Then you can officially and proudly tell everyone that you play fetch and it's not what they think. And that'll
That's right.
Great.
I play fetch professionally.
So what do you study in school? What's your favorite subject in school?
My favorite subject is, it's math. But like, I'm not, just because I'm good at it, I don't really like it though. But yeah, I guess math.
That is so exciting because I happen to be a math pup too, and
He is.
I am, and so this is exciting. We are of the like fluff right there, so that's exciting to hear. And there was something you said that makes me want to. I forgot what I was going to say because, as I say, I'm a pup, and the fluff in the head just goes away. So I guess I won't say what I was going to say.
Oh, okay. Well, Mubark Fluff to you.
Well, thank you, Mubark Fluff, Jack. Thank you for your time talking to us in this eve. Could we talk to Ben again for a few more minutes?
Yeah, I'll go get him. Hang on a second.
Okay, thank you. You have a good evening.
Thanks, Jack.
You too.
Ben! Ben, get back here!
Okay, I am not deaf. You did not need to do that. Sorry. Hello? Hi.
Hello,
hi.
Ben.
Welcome back, Ben.
Wow.
Yeah. Are you deaf now?
Who? What?
Yes.
Hi.
Hi.
Yes, that is a loud yell. Anyway, hello.
Well, you'll be happy to know that Jack was very cordial and nice to us. He didn't get all ferocious pup. Oh, I remember what I was going to ask him, so maybe you can answer for us. I won't make you get him back.
Okay.
What species is Jack?
I believe Jack is a
Labrador!
he's a Labrador.
He's a Labrador. Okay.
He's a Labrador, I'm pretty sure.
Now you heard it on the vine somewhere that he might be. Yeah, so all you furs out there, he's not a golden retriever, contrary to popular belief. He's a lab, okay?
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure he's a lab, yeah.
Nice.
Nice.
So, Ben, is there anything else? We have covered so many wonderful things here today. Is there anything else you would like our listeners to know about? A little Beavis moment there.
Yeah, I am a human being.
Well, that's good.
That's a good thing to know. That's good.
So there is nothing interesting beyond that. Oh, I guess if you want to follow me on socials, because I should probably plug that. It's supposed to be a thing I'm sure I should do. It's at Benjamin Diskin on Twitter. If you want to waste time and follow me on Instagram, which I never use, it's just at Ben Diskin. And that's basically it. Those are the two real ways to find me and follow me as I annoy all of my friends on social media, because that's what I use it for.
And that's Diskin?
Correct. Benjamin Diskin.
This pup can spell. That's exciting. And
Bravo.
Bravo. Well, Ben, thanks for coming on the show. Before we let you go back to your exciting life, is there
Exciting life of Mario Golf? Yes.
Well, yes, it could be exciting. You never. I mean,
and
it could be-
marionettes.
It could be very exciting.
Yes,
But
the marionette.
what is your parting shot to the furry fandom? What would you like the furs to know as like a words of wisdom?
Words of wisdom. Let's say hydrate. If you're a fursuiter, please drink water, because
Yes.
that was very sweaty very quickly for me. Learned that the hard way. I would say just keep being yourself. There's a lot of different people out there. Some people are nice, some people aren't, and just ignore the bad ones, because they're not worth your time.
Yep.
Good call.
Very,
Good
very
call.
nice. Well, thank you, Ben, for your time. It has been awesome and possum, as it were, talking to you on this eve. So very nice of you to join us on our little furry thing we've got going on here.
Well, my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Well, Taebyn, that was exciting having Jack on. That was great.
That was very
little
great.
interview.
I still am wagging because I got to talk to Jack, and that was just a very beautiful. I mean, Ben and everything, he was good too, but it's all about the Jack, right? Yeah.
I mean, it's all about Jack. You got to have the Jack.
But yeah, Ben was quite a great guy. As all you furs heard, he's done so many, I mean, really so prolific. Holy cow. When I first looked at his wiki page, it kept going. I'm like, holy cow, how can someone actually do all that?
Right? Yeah. Well, 33 years.
Yeah, I guess he's had a little bit of time to do one or two things.
Yeah, a little bit of time. So he's been doing voice acting as long as I've been with my job.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, 1989 then. So
1989. Okay.
that's a long time ago.
So that's from the beginning of for a lot of the video games and all that industry and stuff.
In the long ago.
Long ago. It would be so great to actually see him at a con and hug him with pausies or something.
That would be great. Well, I think we should get on to our next segment. What say you, Hup?
I say me pup. Let's move on to the puppy fluff.
But you know what time it is now?
What time is it, Bearly?
Well, it's time for that favorite section, that part of the show that everybody waits with bated breath, worms on their tongues, and a hook in their hand. It is time for Furries in the News.
I got Jack Furries. Thank you for talking to me, Jack. Got away. Furries, where are they? They are in the place that we call the Bark.
I think you should take our prior guest last week up on some voice lessons.
I think so too. Yes, Cleo, help this pup out right here.
Help the pup. Yes. So the biggest news right now for Furries in the News, 2021, while it might have been a crap year, much like 2020, the giving nature of the furry fandom has not waned in any way, shape, or form. It hasn't Bruce waned. It hasn't,
Stockholm waned.
Right. It's none of
Whatever
that
that
stuff.
is.
Over the course of 2021, furries gave to various fundraising organizations and nonprofit organizations the sum of, are you ready?
Ooh, I'm ready. I can't wait.
Okay. You can't wait. $727,748.23.
Wow.
Yes.
Good job. Every fur, give yourselves a big pausies, because that's
Round of
amazing.
applause.
That's so
Yes.
amazing and wonderful. Another great reason and evidence that furries and the furry fandom, you all are just so great. So
And
Bark,
that's 31. That's a 31% increase over the prior year.
wow,
So,
really?
yeah. And if you want to see a breakdown of every organization that got money from the furry fandom, there's a video on YouTube from Thabo Meerkat, and he broke down everything dollar to penny all the way down. So
that's very cool. I will be
cool.
excited to check that out and see the various things that furries contributed to. So awesome. Very, very awesome. Awesome.
Yeah. Do you have any news items?
I heard the other day,
yes,
and I doubt this, but I heard the other day that I am a pup.
Well, it's been proven scientifically that you are, in fact, a pup.
Then I've been saying that all this time, but I didn't know if it was true. But now we know it's true. So I'm a pup, and that's my furries in the news.
Awesome. All right. So we have a number of upcoming events coming up in February.
All in 1 month.
All in 1 month. There's a lot going on in February. If, in fact, they actually happen, we shall wait and see.
They're planned anyway. Okay.
They're planned. So the very first one is ScotiaCon, and that's in Glasgow, United Kingdom, February 11th through the 13th, and their theme is steampunk, not steam pink that I put in the show notes.
Oh,
so
okay, I was going to say. Okay.
Yes. Apparently the U and the I are close to each other on the keyboard, and in fact they are. So it's not steam pink, it's steampunk. And then you've got FurCon New Zealand, or FurCons in Otaki, New Zealand.
It's in New Zealand. I was going to say, is that in Switzerland or Zimbabwe?
No, it's in New Zealand.
But it's in New Zealand. Okay, I was going to be wrong. So, okay, good.
Yes. And their theme, and that's February 11th through the 14th, basically the same weekend as ScotiaCon. So if you're at ScotiaCon, you really can't go to FurCons, so you'll have to pick one. And their theme is post-apocalyptic punk. I'm seeing a punk theme coming up here in February.
I see.
Yeah. Then, of course, here in great country of US of A, the Anthro New England is February 17th through the 20th in Boston, Massachusetts. And their theme is back to the 90s, which I guess could be punk, because punks were very popular in the 90s, too. So
yeah, they were still early 90s.
You could carry that forward. And then you mentioned Sweden
carry
before.
My Venezuela.
You mentioned... What? Wait, Venezuela.
Carry my Venezuela.
Oh, carry me home to... Anyway, so Nordic FuzzCon is February 23rd to the 27th in Malmö, Sweden. Yep. And their theme is Toy Town.
Oh, well, that's cute.
That's very cute. Yes, their website's very cute. Lots of little toys rolling around, and it's kind of fun. So... Why are you laughing? It's just rolling around toys. It's like toys are just rolling around. It's like a little ball rolling around, a little telephone. Kind of like your little telephone that you pull around.
It's true.
Your mobile phone.
I have every fur. If you saw me at FC, what was it, 2020 or 2019, 2020 something.
2020,
I had my mobile phone with me, and you can go on my YouTube, and if you see I forget what it's called, the Taebyn at FC video, I don't know, but you can see me with my mobile phone, and I help, and I take it around with me. Anyway, yes.
Which reminds me, you didn't bring that to BLFC this year, or if you did, we didn't use it.
I didn't. I thought about it, but I know I thought about it. I don't think we did. I was on the edge. It's like, do I really want to be on my phone? All BLFC
at the time, and you didn't bring it to A&W either.
And I didn't bring it to
Wow.
Okay, so next con I got to bring my phone.
You got to bring your phone. You got to do it.
I wonder how many voice messages I have.
Probably a whole bunches. So, and this weekend, when this episode drops, is the Anthro Expo in Oklahoma. So if you're there and you're a listener, drop us a line in the chat saying how it's going in Oklahoma. Okay?
Yeah, let us know.
Okay is the symbol for Oklahoma.
Boop-de-bop. It is! That is a true thing.
I know.
And you did that.
And it just went right over your fluffy little head. Yes.
I don't know things. NZ
you know lots of things.
is the symbol for
Enzite. Enzine. It's like...
Say hi to my hubby. There's my hubby.
Hi, hubby. Hi, Tatsu.
He says hi.
Okay.
I was on. Say hi again.
Hi.
Now you say hi so every fur can hear.
Hi, every fur.
There you go. Hi, Tatsu.
Yay.
All right.
My hubby said hi, and we did that. I feel very productive now.
So you have some math, I understand.
I do. I'm kind of
We
excited
have not
to
had math
talk
in a
about it.
while.
We haven't had math or actually a story for a while because I've been gone and everything and blah, whatever. But yeah, no, I have a little bit of math to talk about that I'm kind of excited to
Okay.
talk about.
All right.
And it has to do with something called constructive geometry. It's also known as, you might have heard it by the name ruler or straight edge and compass geometry.
Okay.
Yeah, ruler and
I'll believe you.
Okay, good.
It works for me.
And I'll have I have a few little fun little exercises we can all do together. So every Fur and Bearly, we can just do some little exercises, some fun things together. But
as long as they're not jumping jacks.
they're not. No, don't you worry. I won't make you do that.
Okay.
And we will need, so every Fur, while you're listening to me talk about a little bit of the history, you will need a compass. Not the kind you tell direct, or that thing. The kind you make little circles with, and you'll need a ruler. Just those two things.
So
and,
not a directional compass and not a king.
And not a king. No.
Those are rulers.
No. Do you know why the Queen's wand is called a scepter?
Because decisions are made by the king except her? No?
No, because everyone works and she doesn't.
Oh. Except her. Yeah.
Yeah. You see what I did there? You see what I did? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. A lot of people are just like, no, that doesn't make any sense, Taebyn. No, but no, I'm proud of you, Bearly. You got it. You can stay. You can stay.
Yeah.
I'll let you
That's
stay.
a ceramic vase.
It is. That's a ceramic vase. Oh, give her some
that toad some money. Yeah.
money. Yes.
Give that toad
Anyway,
some money.
so back in ancient Greece, dating back to the 4th century and even earlier, they wanted, they wanted to do geometric type things and stuff. And they wanted to do such things such as find the center of a circle or bisect an angle or double the area of a square. And, of course, we can do a lot of these things now with, we know geometry and math and stuff. But back then, they had not yet created or come up with all the math that we know now to do that stuff. The analytic geometry that we know of today. So they only had a compass and a straight edge, that is a ruler, to do things and construct things. So this is what's called, as I mentioned, constructible geometry. You're constructing solutions to things via geometry, only using compass and ruler. So, some things they could do and some things they couldn't, such as constructing polygons. So maybe they wanted to be able to make a perfect square or make perfect pentagon or something. Some of these things they could do, and some things they had trouble with. They were still working on it. Some ancient Greeks, specifically Hippocrates and Menelakemus, I mispronounced that horribly, but they found a way to actually double the volume of a cube using compass and straight edge, but they had to use a parabola and hyperbola to help them do that, and at that time, they didn't have a way to construct those using straight edge. And so they could do things if they knew how to do other things. So they got partial answers to some things. And a lot of these problems...
It's very common to know how to do things by knowing how to do other things.
It is.
I know how to go to sleep, which means I know how to go to bed. Anyway.
It does. Socks!
Yeah. Iwi!
But so some of these problems persisted for a long time. Like they couldn't figure out how to do certain things. For example, Gauss, the famous mathematician Gauss, it wasn't until 1796 Gauss came along and figured out how to construct a 17-sided polygon using only a compass and straight edge. So a lot of these things were gone. And some of these things are actually not even possible. For example, squaring this circle. So this is constructing using only a ruler and compass to construct a square that has the same area as a given circle. And people didn't know forever if this is possible or not. It was actually proved in 1882 to be impossible with just a straight edge and a compass. And what's interesting, do you remember at one point on the math I talked about transcendental numbers and irrational numbers and things like that?
Yes.
And pi turns out to be a transcendental number. The proof that squaring the circle is impossible with a straight edge and compass comes down to actually knowing that pi is a transcendental number. So things that don't seem related actually turn out to be. So it's really interesting history of all this.
All right.
So let's construct some things. Are you ready?
I am ready. I have my compass and my straight edge.
Nice. So three fun things I'd like to do that are fun. Okay. So let's find the midpoint of a line. So draw a line segment.
Okay.
And we want to It's drawn, and so we want to find the midpoint of that line only using the tools at hand, as it were.
Okay.
And so
yes.
how you can do that, and you don't have to necessarily draw a full circle. You can draw little circular tick marks if that's easier. But anyway, so we're going to find the midpoint by finding the perpendicular bisector. That is the perpendicular line that goes straight down the middle.
Just straight down the middle.
So draw circles of the same radii so put the little pointy thing at one end of the segment and make the compass part, make it bigger than half. So just make sure it's bigger than half, and then draw a circle around.
Okay. Done.
Now do the same thing with the same radius. Put the little pointy part on the other segment.
Other side. Okay.
And do the same thing. Draw it around.
Okay.
And those circles intersect in 2 points.
Yes.
And so now take the straight edge and draw a line directly through those 2 points.
Okay. There you go.
And that's your perpendicular
That's the midpoint
bisector.
Of that line.
That is the midpoint of that line, and it's proved with geometry and everything that is exactly the midpoint of the line.
Wow.
Isn't that fun?
Very cool.
Yeah.
That's fun.
It is.
Fun with math.
It's kind of fun to think about, like given other geometrical problems, trying to think about and just playing around with how would you do it. So another thing is, and we'll do, but find the center of any circle using only these tools at hand. So for out there, take a moment to just play around with it and see if you can figure out how to find the center of any circle using only these 2 things. And then when you think you figured it out or you've stuck and you just don't know, turn the recording back on. And right now we'll go through it together. So
all right.
Bearly, you have a circle in front of you.
I do.
Okay.
You want me to draw a new one or the one I just did?
The one you just did is perfectly fine.
Okay.
Unless you're unhappy with it.
No, I'm happy with that.
You have It's a happy little circle.
Well, it's actually 2 circles, but yes, I'm happy with one of them.
One of them. Okay, so one of them.
Yes.
The other one's
the other one I'm not so happy.
That's George. He's not so very happy right now.
Yeah. Hit the ball, drag George.
Exactly. So draw a line through the circle anywhere. It doesn't have to be halfway through. It just has to be intersect the circle twice.
Okay.
And that is what they call the little part inside the circle with the endpoints on the circle. That's what they call a chord of a circle.
Oh.
So take that chord of a circle and draw a perpendicular bisector. So take, the pointy part of the compass and put it at one end.
On either side, yes.
Yeah. And draw a thingy, and then the other one, draw a thingy. And then you've got your perpendicular bisector.
Yes, we do. Okay.
And so that actually goes straight through half of the circle, which means find the perpendicular bisector of that.
Okay, right.
So using the where it intersects the circle on either end.
You do the same thing.
Do the same thing.
Draw another circle. Another circle. There. So now you have 4 circles with lines, and then you draw the line through. All right. Yay.
Yeah. And so you've got a plus shape, and the intersection of those 2 lines is the center of the circle.
Well, how about that?
It's kind of interesting.
This was Euripides, or who was it? Hippocrates? No.
Those 2 names I mentioned Hippocrates was one of them. I'm not sure, these ones we're doing now, I think I'm not sure who did them, but all these date way back then when they were thinking of these. So one more that's fun to do and think about, which actually has to do with what we've already done. How would you bisect an angle? That is, find exactly halfway of an angle. So if you draw an angle, like an alligator mouth thingy.
An alligator math? Is that what you said?
Mouth. I meant mouth. I think
math?
I said math, but I meant to say mouth.
I said an alligator math. Ooh. It's crocodile.
We're doing alligator math all of a sudden. Alligator Greek math.
Got it. Got it. Okay, I got it.
Okay, got it. So again, any just try and figure out how you might want to bisect this angle. Put the podcast on pause. And then when you think you got it, or confused, don't know, turn it back on, and we'll go through it together. So put the jabby point on the vertex of your angle.
Okay.
And then and you can draw a circle of any radius. Just draw a circle around that.
Okay. Got it.
Okay. So now you've intersected your angle in 2 points with that circle.
Yes.
So now use those points as the center of a circle of the same radii. So you can use the same radius that you have now, just any radius basically. So put the little jabby in one of the intersection points and draw a circle around.
Okay.
And then put the jabby in the other intersection point and draw a circle around.
And then, okay.
Other end, yeah.
I gotta see what you got going here. I think
And
I see
those
what you
two
got going here.
circles
Okay.
intersect.
Yep.
Yeah.
Draw a line.
Yeah.
Think I'm going,
So
and there you
tell
go.
me what's going to happen next.
So I think I'm gonna take the alligator mouth
Okay.
and I'm gonna do the bottom part because I did the top part already, right? So I'm gonna do the bottom part with the circles, right?
Oh yeah. The two intersection points draw circles. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Great.
Right.
And so
Okay,
when you do that, those two circles intersect.
Mhm.
And if you take your straight edge and draw a line through those two intersection points, you have bisected the angle.
Woohoo! Yay!
Isn't that
I'm
fun
so
and
excited.
exciting? Yeah.
It is.
And so a fun exercise that we won't go through because now we've got it. Now that we're thinking fun and everything, challenge for every fur out there. And send us in if you think you've done it. Try and construct a circle through 3 non-collinear points. So take 3 points that don't lie on the same line. Just point,
Okay,
3 of them.
yeah.
And there is a circle that goes through those using your compass and straight edge. How can you find a perfect circle through those 3 points?
Yeah.
And you can do it. It's not too bad with kind of some of the ideas that we've talked about today. So fun exercise,
Nice.
challenge, send it in and let us know how it went. And that is my math for the week.
All right, and I have because you said words, and because we have to have pun acceptable. So you said polygon, and that's what happened to the pirate's bird, polygon.
I saw that coming.
And then you said Gauss. You know, I was driving down the road the other day and I ran out of Gauss. Anyway, moving along.
So then I went to the math station to get more.
That's right. Went to the math station. Took a math. Not spoiler alert because it's kind of a cute little line. So on Cowboy Bebop, they're talking about they're out in space. It's way out in the space worlds, right? And they pick up this other gal and she's working on the ship. And John Cho comes out. His character says, "How come there's no hot water?" And she says, "Well, because that's probably my fault because of my my shower bath shower." And he's like, "Your what?"
My shower
bath shower.
Okay.
Yeah. She says, "Well, you know, you showers, you just, you get the dirt off. But if you take a bath, you just sit in your own filth. So you take a shower to get the dirt off, then you soak in the bathtub, and then you take a shower to get the soap off. So it's a shower bath shower." And later on, he comes out in his bathrobe and he says, "Why did I never know about shower bath showers before?"
Yes. They're ingenious. Like, who came up with this? That's amazing.
Yeah. So, would you like to play? I have 2 games.
Oh.
2 trivia games. They're basically the same. They're basically the same thing for the same company.
Oh.
There is the one that I had before. I should have known that.
Yes.
Or things they don't teach you in school.
Ooh, let's try we haven't done that before. Let's try things they don't teach you in school.
Okay. I'm going to randomly pick a card from the center of the deck.
Did you use your your compass and straight edge to find the center of the deck?
I did not. And now, so let's see, a compass and a straight edge. Now, a protractor has a curve and a straight edge.
Yep.
Ah.
Yeah.
Mm.
And actually, it's interesting that you say that because when I was first writing down my notes for the thing, I forgot. I kept thinking protractor, and it's not the same thing, and I kept getting confused myself because protractors are not the same things as compasses. So anyway.
No. And a contractor is what you hire to come do work for you. And he might be a pro. You know, the pro contractor, pro.
Yes.
Anyway. So put your thinking cap on. Unacceptable.
I am
put your thinking cap on.
Procrastinating to do that.
Yes. Number 1. All right. How many people were there on the earth when Jesus was allegedly born? I'm going to say allegedly because I don't want to assume anybody's religion. So, how many people were on the planet when Jesus was allegedly born?
So that they don't teach you that in school. I'm going to say
No.
4.5.
Well, then there would only be like one and 1/2 person if it was just Jesus, Mary, and Joseph at that point. So, but I think there was a few more.
There was at least 3. That's true.
Yeah.
12.
300 million approximately, according to the Bible. Yes, that storybook
Okay.
written for people to read.
That is something I did not know.
Okay. How many weddings, on average, are held in Las Vegas every day? And we're going to say pre-COVID.
Yeah, why don't they teach us this in school? Come on, people. Get
Right?
with the
Yeah.
important facts. I'm going to say 352.
You're very, very close. It was 300.
Oh, really? Oh,
So,
wow.
but
Okay.
if
I
it
mean,
was-
that's amazing.
But if you were playing Price is Right, you would have been over. You would have lost. So, because you got to be closest without going over. Yeah. Yeah. All right. What food costs almost exactly as much today as it did over 100 years ago?
Over 100. Not bread. Thinking pup. Okay, not hamsters.
No. Hamsters are only food for snakes.
Right.
Yes.
And snakes get away with murder, I guess.
Every day. Yes.
Every day.
Most animals get away with murder every day.
It's true. Especially crows when they hang out together.
Yes.
No, I'm gonna say gumdrops.
And you would be incorrect. The
Oh.
answer is salt.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's very
Not Jonah.
No, I'm very insulted by this fact. But
Ah.
yeah, but
Oh,
you have to pepper in this trivia every now and then, so
you do. You do.
I relish the thought.
You're a well-seasoned pup.
I am.
So-
I am. But you only have to give me time to figure it out.
That's true. You're a wise old sage.
I am. But wait.
How many more?
It's important to make sure that you cayenne the
the answer.
the
Cayenne, the
rutabaga.
answer.
I don't know.
Yes, there we go. All right. How far can you know what I feel like these questions are? Did you ever watch the show Hollywood Squares?
I have seen that. Yes.
Yeah, and they ask the question, and the comedian or the actor always makes up different answers to things, and then the person has to guess whether it's the truth or not.
That's right.
I feel like these are those kind of questions.
I see.
So you've chosen Charles Nelson Riley in the center square.
Yeah.
Charles, how far can sperm travel in 1 hour?
Well, I tell you, it's kind of like one of those whales and everything, and they just go really fast and really far. So I'm gonna say, New Zealand.
No, the answer is 10 centimeters.
Okay.
That's not very far if you think about it.
Well, I'm O'Reilly, and I don't know what's going on anymore. So that's all I can say.
Well, circle gets the square.
Okay.
All right.
But only if you make it with your compass and straight edge.
Yes, there we are. There we are. And arg. All right, Taebyn. Oh, my cow. We did it again.
Oh, music.
We
Oh, I
finished another
hear the
episode.
music. I hear music.
It is. I know. Did you have a good time?
I had an amazingly great time. Did you have a great time, Mr. Bearly?
I had a good time. I did. I had a great time. Remember to help support us through Ko-Fi, Patreon, merch, and sharing our show with others so that listenerships get up there. Thanks to all our listeners for sticking around for this episode. We love you so much. With all that's going on in my life, this podcast, while a literal ton of work, is a bright spot in my life these days. And I do want to say we may have to skip a week here or there in the next coming weeks, but I'm going to try and get things... Cupping weeks. Yes, not couple weeks.
Or kipper wing. Kipper wings.
Kipper wings.
The kipper took a few winks, and now he's refreshed because he took a nap.
Oh, I thought you said kipper wings. I was like, that's not
that
a flying
too.
fish. Yeah, kipper wings. Give me those kipper wings. But yeah. So before I start, the furry fandom does bring me happiness and joy. And I know today I was talking with our staff, and it's like I may just walk away from the whole furry fandom, but I had been up for 37 hours, and I was very emotional and angry. And so before I start crying like a cub, Mubark Fluff, stay furry. Taebyn, what do you have to say to the nice furs for listening, or even the not so nice furs?
To all the furs, I say, so yes, every fur, please reach out to Bearly and give him a big hug with pawsies, because Bearly needs them these days. We won't go into it. We'll just say, please give Bearly as many hugs, tight hugs with pauses as you can. But on that note, yes, Moo Bark Fluff, all you first, thank you for sticking around and listening to us do our whatever it is. What did we even do for the last hour, Bearly?
We did for the last hour what we do every time on this show.
It is what it is.
It's iwi. It is iwi. Yes.
Iwi. But yes, thank you everyone for listening in. You support us just by listening, and that's great. And I mean, that's really all I can say. Thank you so much. We can't wait to bark at you again. Well, whenever that happens again. And until then, have a great one. Moo Bark Fluff. Stay furry.
Bearly Furcasting is an Injured Nerve studio production, and is found on all major podcast platforms, or can be heard directly at bearlyfurcasting.com. The opinions expressed here are those of the hosts and their guests, and no commercial compensation was granted. The Furcast is produced, recorded, and directed by me, Bearly Normal, aka Mike Began, and is edited by myself and our associate editors Rain Raccoon and Bixby Wolf. This week's interview was edited by Bixby Wolf. Opening and closing theme music, as well as some interstitial music, was created for Injured Nerves Productions for the use on the podcast by Reg Day with Damian Tanuki. If you would like to hear more music by Reg Day, you can search for Tweezerbeak on Bandcamp, or Hoop Loop Tunes on SoundCloud. Other interstitial and background music by Shane Ivers through silvermansound.com, Gator Tots on soundcloud.com, and the YouTube Free Use Library. If you would like to send us a message, you can do so via email at bearlyfurcasting@gmail.com, or on our Telegram chat at BFFTchat, on Twitter, on our Facebook page, or on the bearlyfurcasting.com webpage. You can help support the show through donations at kofi.com/bearlyfurcasting, or through Patreon at patreon.com/bearlyfurcasting. Thanks for listening. We hope you come back and listen next week.